Hello. I'd like to read you a story, rather tell you a story today, about a little boy named Ping who lives in a faraway place called China. It's far away to me because I live on the other side of the world from China. But it is a story about a little boy named Ping who loved to grow things. He grew the most beautiful flowers and plants and fruit trees in his parents' garden that you had ever seen. Why, the air smelled like perfume. It was so full of lovely fragrances. Well, the emperor of the land also loved flowers and gardens and animals, and he gardened all the time himself. And as the emperor was growing very old, he realized he needed a successor to the throne, someone to take his place when he died. So he thought he would let the flowers choose who would become emperor. So he sent a proclamation out throughout the land and said, "Children, come to the palace at 1 o'clock on Friday afternoon, and I will give you all a seed to plant." Well, the proclamation went out all throughout the countryside, and children came from far and wide, and each one of them was given a tiny little seed. The emperor went up to each child and opened the palm of the child's hand and slipped a seed into the palm and closed the hand of the child and said, "Take this home and bring it back in 1 year, and then we shall determine who shall be the emperor, for the flower will let me know." So each child carefully carried home their one little seed, and when they got back to their houses, they went, picked it up, put it in a pot of earth, covered it, and watered it. Now, Ping did that every day. Ping was, like I told you, a very good gardener. He watched that little pot. He watered that little pot. He transplanted the earth into a bigger pot just to make sure that the plant had what it needed. Seasons went by, and lo and behold, nothing grew in Ping's pot. It was barren. Well, spring was coming, and a proclamation came out through the land calling, "Burr, burr, 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 burr. Come to the palace on Sunday afternoon. Bring your pot. Let us see the flowers that have grown, and I, the emperor, shall declare who his successor will be." Well, all the children dressed in their finest clothes. They put on their nicest shoes, and they brought their beautiful pots. As one of the boys was running out of the village gate, he turned to Ping and he looked at Ping and said, "Aren't you coming? Where's your pretty flower?" Ping looked miserable. He looked down at his barren pot and said, "I don't know if I should go." And the little boy laughed and ran off. Well, Ping's father overheard Ping lamenting and said, "You need to go. You need to show the emperor that you have tried. That's enough." And Ping muscled up his courage, took his pot, and he went to the palace. There were hundreds of children. There were hundreds of beautiful flowers in pots. And there stood Ping in the front with an empty pot. He bowed his head, hoping that he wouldn't be noticed. Well, the emperor came out of the palace gates, and the emperor surveyed, looked out over the tops of all the children's heads multiple times, and he saw lots of gorgeous colors, lots of beautiful flowers, but nothing caught the emperor's eye except for Ping. Yes, Ping. The little boy with the empty pot caught his eye, and the emperor went up to him and kind of pulled him aside and turned him to face the other children and said, This is a glorious day. I have found the successor to my throne." And all the children stopped giggling and laughing. They were being a little bit rude. They stopped giggling and laughing, and they looked at the emperor and thought, "What is he talking about?" And the emperor said, "I must tell you, children, I gave each of you a cooked seed. There is no way your seed could have manifested into this beautiful flower that you have brought to me. This little boy, Ping, he's the only one who told the truth. Therefore, he shall be my successor, for he is honest and humble and truthful." And so goes the story. The emperor lived out his days until he died, and at that time Ping took his place. And from then on, he too tended his garden and all of the children around him. Thank you. That was the story of Ping by Demi.